And the Lord really started dealing with me. I didn't know what it was though. It was these moments of, even just as a little kid, where I would have this burden come over me and I would just weep. And my parents like, what's going on with Jonathan? And I didn't understand what it was. But it wasn't until my freshman year of Bible school. I was in Stockton, California, and it was in the spring, March or April, can't remember exactly when it was. And when I went to Bible school, I knew I wanted to work for God, but I had not accepted a call to preach. It was kind of in the back of my mind maybe, but I had not, and I don't know if it was more me just saying, no, I don't want to do that. But it was March or April, that first year of Bible school, and I was sitting in the big church that oversaw the college, and the preacher that was preaching, in the middle of his message, that same feeling that I felt when I was 10 years of age, it hit me again at 18, 19. And I'm like, what is this? This is so familiar. And in that moment, the Lord, not audibly, but kind of impressed on me, spoke to my heart, said, all these years I've been preparing you, and called me to preach right there. And I accepted the call to preach right there in that service. So I was probably 18, 19 years of age before I actually accepted the call to preach. And yeah, so that's been
wow,
a journey. So.
Okay. So going back, who would you say affected you, as a young person, as a young preacher? Who were the men of God or role models you maybe looked up to that really affected your ministry?
Yeah. And probably as a kid, it was Pastor Guy Rome, who was the founding pastor of New Life, St. Louis. He had one of the most beautiful pastor's hearts. And I remember I attended New Life Christian Academy, it was New Life Christian School at the time, and he preached for one of our chapel services. Again, I was about that age, 10, 11 years old.
Right.
And I remember him coming down off the platform after he preached, and I walked up to him, and he held his hand, and he shook my hand and put his hand on my shoulder, and he says, Jonathan, God's got his hand on your life.
Wow.
Just simple words he probably never thought of again, but it profoundly impacted me. So probably as a pastor, Pastor Guy Rome, and then Pastor Jerry Jones, who was the pastor during my formative years and when I went off to Bible school and all that. And
right.
you sat under him too.
Oh, yes.
So probably when it comes to preaching, in a sense, he's been the biggest impact on me, probably so. I always looked up to Brother Jones and still do to this day as one of the most influential preachers in my life, I would say.